And hello, sisters and brothers, and welcome to Trinity Update. Today you have something new, something different. Praise the Lord. It's nice to be here with you again. I haven't been with you in Trinity Update for a while, but it's very nice to be here. And I have two amazing guests here today. Really, really amazing guests. So keep tuned in and keep listening. You're going to find out a lot of information today. And we want to welcome Chiara Cardoletti.
Very good.
And Mamu.
That's it.
Chiara works at UNHCR, which is the United Nations Refugee Agency, and she is the deputy regional representative. And Maha, unfortunately, sisters and brothers, she's a stateless person. Now, what is a stateless person? You're going to be hearing all about it today, or maybe just a little about it. So to get going, we just want to ask Chiara, what brings you to Trinidad and Tobago at this very special time of the year when we are celebrating?
That's right, Republic Day.
Amen.
Where we are here to Maha actually, and I are here to do a course, on a regional course on statelessness, which was preceded by a regional course on refugee protection, and which will be followed by next week by a workshop on alternatives to detention. So it's a relatively long program. The government of Trinidad is hosting, and which we are very grateful for.
Very good. It's a long program.
Very good. Yeah.
We're going to get a lot of information.
Yeah, we're going to become very wise.
I was very privileged to be there as they began both trainings, and amazed to see how many people were here from other countries, like all the Latin American countries were here.
That's right. We had actually a government representative and UNHCR colleagues from South America, Central America, North America, and all the islands and territories of the Caribbean.
Right. That's very, very good. UNHCR must be very happy.
We are very much happy because it is very important, particularly in today's world, that we raise awareness and we train, particularly our government counterparts, on refugee protection, that we raise the issues, and then of course that we increasingly raise awareness of statelessness, which is becoming, a very serious problem in the world.
Okay, so statelessness. So now we go to Maha. Maha, you're a stateless person.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Okay. My name is Maha Mamu. Thank you so much for hosting this, and thank you for doing this awareness campaign. Stateless is the person who doesn't have any identity, any citizenship, any passport, any type of document who prove who those people are. So I'm stateless. I was born in Lebanon from Syrian parents, different religion. They couldn't get married, they couldn't get a legal marriage. You can get your citizenship by two ways, or by the land where you were born,
right,
or by the blood from your dad.
Right. Only your dad.
My dad is Syrian.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's not able to give me the citizenship because of the illegal marriage, because he's Christian, my mom is Muslim.
Okay.
And in Lebanon, they don't give you the citizenship if you were born in Lebanon. So I lived 27 years of my life, passing through many challenges. I couldn't study. We studied because it was a civil war in Lebanon, so we could enter the school. University, I would like to do medicine. I couldn't, unfortunately, because the man took all the documents and threw them on my face. He told me, "Where is your passport? Go get your document and come back." I couldn't have a job because you need a legal document in order to get a job. I couldn't enter to the hospital because they don't assist you if you don't have a document. I couldn't study, have a bank account. I even, if you can imagine, if you want to buy a SIM card, a normal one, I couldn't, because I didn't have any type of document
to get it.
Yes.
So that's what
stateless means. That was people.
And you've lived your whole life stateless?
For 27 years, I was suffering. I was trying to find solutions. I play basketball. I couldn't play with the national team. I run. I couldn't run. I couldn't compete. I'm good and whatever I do, but I was living in fear. Even inside Lebanon, if the police would stop me, I would go to the jail because I don't exist. Where are your documents? They could, like, you're a terrorist, you're something that... So what I did, I started to find a solution. So my good luck was that UNHCR, they started this I Belong campaign in 2014. It's about, because stateless persons, we are worldwide 10 million persons. It's not only me, it's not only my sister and my brother, we're 10 million persons. So I started to find out how I could do something.
Impact status.
Yes.
Great, but that brings me to Chiara. How is UNHCR involved? UNHCR is a refugee agency for United Nations.
That's right.
How come you're involved, UNHCR is now involved with stateless persons?
Okay, so UNHCR is indeed a refugee agency, but it's also the agency mandated by the General Assembly to sort of assist government in implementing the international legal framework on statelessness. So statelessness has been an issue that's been very much overlooked. Like we know that we have 10 million people in the world, but that's just a very small fraction of what we think is the problem. The problem is probably much, much bigger. And it is an issue that UNHCR has been increasingly focusing on as we understand the scope of the problem. I mean, there's many people like Maha. Maha is, unfortunately for us, someone who has, but she's somebody who has taken on, upon herself to fight and to tell people what it means to be stateless, to what it means to not be able to, have a future because of all the challenges that she's confronted with on a daily basis. And so, Maha is a very good example, but there's many other people whose life are affected in a much more, fundamental way, and maybe don't have the strength and courage that Maha has to stand up to it. So, what we do is really remind governments that they have a responsibility, and we work with them to support them in making sure that they implement laws that do not give rise to statelessness, that they take measures and implement policies that eradicate statelessness, and that of course they do not take upon themselves to implement policy that denationalize people and that further compound the problem. So that's what we do. We have seen a very positive reaction from governments on the issue. But it will take time before this problem is addressed, and as Maha will tell you.
Which she would like it to.
Yeah, she would like very much to have her personal problem resolved, and so do we. And I think that that's something that is very much in our hearts.
Good. Tell me.
Yes. Actually, I will tell you. Today I'm 28 years old. I suffered for 26 years. I didn't have any type of documents, any type of anything. So I sent my case to all the embassies all over the world. I received many replies, but unfortunately all of them were, okay, your profile is amazing, because I could study it. I did business computer, I got my master's degree, and so I was working on this profile. So they told me, your profile is amazing, but how and where we're gonna put your visa? You don't have passport, so I couldn't travel. The only country that accepted my case and that they gave me a travel document, which is laissez-passer, just to enter the country, was Brazil.
Okay.
So I moved to Brazil, me, my sister, and my brother. We've living there for 2 years now. Unfortunately, I lost my brother.
Sorry to hear that.
He was killed in Brazil on 30 June 2016. Before 30 June, my goal was, okay, I'm gonna fight. I got the opportunity, I got the chance in Brazil. I got the document, I can work here, so no problem, I can wait for nationality. After 30 June, this purpose changed a little bit. Like, I'm gonna fight, but I need a nationality.
Yes. So how can we help? How can we help people like Maha?
It's a very good question. It is exactly what we're trying to figure out. And the various countries have different legislations, and that is really what makes things complicated. And in the particular case of Maha, I understand one of the challenges is that you have to have to be able to access. You have to be living in the country for a number of years before you can access nationality. Is that it now?
That's it. But in Brazil, unfortunately, like, they have the apatrid, the stateless word. Like, they know you're stateless, but they don't have a mechanism to resolve it. So I'm living there with, documents that I can live inside Brazil. I'm here because of the course. So I got the special permission.
And the government of Trinidad and Tobago allowed you in.
Yes.
So that you could be here for the course. Well, thank God for that. I think the government of Trinidad and Tobago are very visionary when it comes to, well, in contrast to many other governments, because we have working with the government now a process for refugee status right here in our country.
It is very true. I think that other than this regional refugee course and this statelessness course, I spent the past 3 days discussing with government officials and visiting, in fact, the very good refugee program that Trinidad and Tobago is establishing. And I have to say that it is truly impressive to see what Trinidad and Tobago has put together and how it has responded, not only responsibly but very generously to refugees who have come to this country. It is the second largest receiver of refugees in the Caribbean, and we have been extremely impressed with what they have done. And certainly, you've called them visionary, and I think that's exactly how we see it. Yeah. Now, going back to Maha and her and her needs. We are very much in the hands of governments here. We can't give Maha a passport. What we can do is advocate for her and make sure that the needs of these persons are seen for what they are, and that governments eventually will come through and give Maha nationality. I think we have, there are serious challenges, back home in her region, a region that is very much affected by conflict at the moment. So we do hope that all of that is taken into account as governments, consider taking this extremely resourceful young woman
I'm sure she's going to get on
under their wing, precisely.
Yeah. But I know right here in the Caribbean we have our own problems with Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So we have a big challenge there with statelessness as well.
Yes, the Americas region really has a very important problem of statelessness all over the region. The good news is that they have set for themselves a very courageous goal, which is to eradicate statelessness as the first region in the world to eradicate statelessness. And so we are very much looking forward to seeing that happening. The region, the whole Americas region, is known for is respect for civil rights, is very advanced and progressive way of looking at this problem. And we really do hope that we will see some progress soon. That's right.
See that. Yeah. I hope so. I really hope so. So if any country comes to you, and says, "Come, Maha, come and be a citizen in our country,"
I'm ready.
Anywhere.
I'm ready because I speak 5 languages. I speak 5 languages. I study it, and I came to Brazil for a specific reason, which is nationality.
Right.
And I love Brazil. I've been everywhere in Brazil, and my purpose is to get nationality. It's to be a normal person.
Right.
Because as anyone in this world, everyone has his own problems, I understand. Right. But for us stateless people, before thinking and getting to the level of having this normal problems that you guys have, we have the problem to exist.
Okay.
Not everyone is like me. I'm someone who likes to speak, who likes to talk, but I met some stateless people that they are ready to suicide. They say our life it has no meaning. Yeah. We don't have to live for nothing. We don't exist. Like, people will look at you as pity. I look at it as a challenge. It's not a pity. Yeah. It's not my fault that I'm stateless. It's because of the lake and the laws or because of the people. But it's not a political question. It's a humanitarian question. Yeah. So we're normal people. Yes. Yeah. We have potential. We're young.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna live our life.
Right.
Like, we're looking for dreams, we're looking for potential. I'm looking for, if I want to travel somewhere in the world, I want to travel. I don't want to be stopped in the immigration office for 3 hours because they don't know what they're gonna do.
Of course.
So what drives you, Maha?
What
drives you?
God.
God drives you.
Yes. And my hope and my dream, and I believe that nothing is impossible. All the problems has a solution. And I had a backup from my best friend in Lebanon. Back there, that she always used to tell me, like, we will get there. You're gonna get your citizenship. You exist. The only problem is that paper.
You don't have a piece of
Yes, it's not this piece of paper. It doesn't define you.
That's right.
But
without that, you can't do
anything.
Without that, you can't do anything. But that doesn't define you, of course. No.
Of course.
So when you're growing up, I mean, it's interesting to know, knowing that you're a stateless person. How do you interact with people?
I didn't know I'm stateless. I didn't know this is the definition of my case.
Okay.
When I was 8 years old, I used to compete running in my school. I was the first. All my friends used to go to the competition in the national level. I used not to go. I used to stay.
But you didn't know why?
I didn't know why at that time. I was a scout, Girl Scouts. So my group all day traveled to Jordan. I couldn't go with them. And I was like scout for 15, 16 years since I was a kid. I started to question why. When I did want to do medicine and they didn't accept me to do that, then I started to know, no, I need a solution. I need to understand why I'm like that. And I started to ask authorities. And when I went to enter to a government building, I couldn't enter because you need a document
to get in.
Oh
my God.
And I started to search. Google helped me a lot.
Right.
Online research, just to understand what's my case. And I talked with the embassy of Syria in Lebanon, and I had many lawyers, and I started to speak with many people regarding from human rights, and I started to understand what is my case exactly. So that's when I met the I Belong campaign. I understood that I'm stateless.
Right.
That's the definition of my case.
Okay, great. That's good. Good for UNHCR. Now, I see UNHCR is challenged very, very much these days, of course, with the 60 million and plus refugees that they have all over the world. Tell me, Chiara, what does it feel like to be, in UNHCR and facing these problems constantly?
I think we're very privileged because it is not every day that you can be in a position to do something.
Right.
And it's true, we are probably seeing one of the worst periods in history in terms of displacement. And there are the 10 million statelessness, but then we have 22 million refugees and so on. So it is certainly one of the periods in history where UNHCR has had to struggle the most to meet all these simultaneous human tragedies that we see around the world. And it is extremely challenging, but I think that it is also extremely privileging to be able to do something and to be able to give back and to assist refugees that are fleeing conflict So yeah, it is certainly it is also good to see that there so much is being done, and that so many governments are acting in the right way. They are actually opening up the doors and letting refugees in, and they are protecting them and doing the right thing. And that's what is encouraging to see. There's of course a lot of problems. I'm not saying that everything is rosy, but there has been an incredible response, for example, to the Syria crisis, we do think that that is really what is important, what we need today.
Yeah. Being a charity and an NGO ourselves, for the many years that we have been, it has always been a challenge for me to understand why international agencies only work with governments. Most of them do, even like funding agencies, international funding agencies and so. Everything is worked with governments, and so much more could be done with the if organizations can get in and work with the international agencies. Like say we are working with UNHCR, so much more can happen if we can work together. But that's never really publicized. That's never really, it's not an option. Even for statelessness, okay, what can we do? We hear about statelessness, what can we do? As an organization, what can we do? I mean, there are millions and millions of organizations all over the world that would love to be able to help. But they're partnering and they're working with. It's so difficult. But I think it's going to need much more than the governments and United Nations. It's going to need the whole world to get involved, because we're talking about 60 million people.
Absolutely.
So everybody has to be involved.
No, for sure. The primary responsibility for protecting refugees remains with government. So the United Nations work with governments as the primary responsible sort of carrier of the problem, let's say. Civil society, organization, NGOs remain the backbone of our work, and all over the world. In Trinidad, living in a water community is what has primarily saved us all in terms of delivering to refugees, and it's been an incredible partnership for UNHCR over numerous years.
Yes.
I mean, and I think that if it hadn't been for a living water community, I don't know what we would have done with refugees. And so I think that's a very important point. But generally speaking, all over the world, UNHCR, at least I can talk about UNHCR because I can talk about the other entities of the United Nations, work very, very closely with civil society and with NGOs. The NGOs are, literally the backbone of the work that we do. They advocate, they implement, they protect refugees. They're part and parcel of our programming, and they are real partners. They are their ears, their eyes, all over the world.
Yeah. So if someone was looking on now and they wanted to know, I'm really moved by this, I want to be able to help, what would you say to them?
In terms of
helping, yes, or refugees. Someone is moved by, the work. And
there are various ways of being able to help. Volunteering is one of them.
Right.
We run a very large volunteer program. Donating to UNHCR is another way you can do. Donating to the partners that we work with. Working with water and living community, perhaps is another way of doing it. Be open to the other, be open to refugees, be open to, be tolerant, understand the difference.
Yes.
That is really what matters the most.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because some people, so some countries and some, so many people in a country are closed to that.
But each country has their challenges, and each people in each nation has their challenges. And I think that being open to the other is not always easy. And it takes courage, and it takes the ability to see beyond one's fear and to see beyond what we don't know. Maha was telling us about her story about being stateless, and that may create anxiety. What is this? What is this phenomenon? In fact, it's nothing less than a person who doesn't have a passport, who doesn't have documents, who can get her life together because of these very minor administrative problems fundamentally. And refugees are the same. Refugees are simply people that are fleeing a situation of violence, a situation of conflict, that need another place where they can restart their life temporarily until they can go back to their own country. So it's about seeing beyond the fear of the other, of what's different and what we don't know, and embrace that. And embrace that difference can be something good and something very positive. And that's not always easy, and I think that's something we all have to work at.
We all have to work at.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. What do you think, Maha?
I think?
Yeah. What do you think about people helping stateless persons?
I guess people should look to the nearest UNHCR office there and to check with them what's the real regulation and what's the real need in this country exactly. Because to work worldwide, UNHCR is already doing this, and the social companies and the social groups, they should help their own country. And I got a lot of backup from UNHCR back to Brazil. They helped me a lot, and I had some NGOs that I learned Portuguese with them because I'm a refugee and stateless at the same time inside Brazil. Because like the conflict that happened in Lebanon.
So you can't go back there.
Yeah, we have 2 million Syrian refugees inside Lebanon. And because my parents were Syrian, that's why I had the chance to come to Brazil as a refugee. I didn't come because I'm stateless, because I'm a refugee.
Okay, very interesting. Yes. You see, all of these things for our viewing public is very important, because we read and, of course, we listen to the news and we see things, but we don't really understand it with our hearts. And I think that situations like this is what we have to do. And I mean, as people of God, as Christians, as people who follow the Lord and the way of the gospel, the plight and the pain of the least of our brothers and sisters is our plight and our pain. And we want to work, we want to, to come together and help whatever situation we can.
And you have to know that it's not a choice. No. Those are people who are not doing this upon a choice.
Yeah.
No one wants to leave his home, where you were born, where you have family, where you have friends.
That's it. That's it. As human beings, I guess that's a feeling in all of us. I remember when we were beginning our rehab center for drugs, for cocaine was terrible, marijuana and alcohol here, and we opened a rehab center. People would not help fund us for a rehab center because they said that those people deserve how they are because they shouldn't be,
It's a choice.
Yeah. They did it they did it themselves.
And what did you answer to that?
How could you answer that?
Their situation didn't help.
I mean, many people, until they experience it in their own families, you know, then they realize, really, it's not that, you know. But when we started, it was many years ago, and people would just really put drugs under the table, you know. No, we don't have drugs here, we don't have drugs in the school, we don't have drugs in the workplace, you know. Denial right across the board, so that they were not open to even seeing the drug addiction in their own families. But of course, we have moved to a new place now, and we see that. So it's like that, I think, you know. Unless we, as you say, open up your heart to really understand this crisis, or maybe experience it yourself. Meet someone like you. When you meet someone like you, and you say, you know, yeah, these people, you know, they're ordinary human beings like us, and they didn't want to be there. I mean, the refugees we have in Trinidad and Tobago, they don't want to be here. They want to be
rather
home.
be at home.
They want to be at home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, that's it.
And you know, and they made it all the way here, and this is such a beautiful country that, you know, and there's so much for them to be able to share and to learn and you know, take Trinidad into their own skin and see what that means.
And many people
I think that's really, you know, that's really beautiful also about being able to give to a refugee that you know, they also absorb a bit what it is, your culture, and you know, who you are, and they learn about that.
They do,
and
I think that's, if they're resettled to another country, they go as ambassadors for our country to other countries as well. Well, I see the time is ticking by. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. But it's just been great sharing this time with you. I thank you for. I know you have a very busy schedule, and we had to pull you away to be here. But what would you like to see before we end?
I just want to tell you, to ask you to commit that you're going to end statelessness, and to ask people just to enter to the I Belong campaign.
Okay, great.
And to sign the open letter, because we have there an open letter that you go, just put your name and your email, and you just sign it.
Okay, so we asking you ask them, you tell them. You go ahead.
No, I just want this is for you.
Okay,
to commit that you're gonna end statelessness, to help us that stateless will not be an issue, because UNHCR commit in 10 years, and hopefully we're gonna get our goal.
Yeah.
So you can go that www.unhcr.org. You just open it.com. It's not .org. Again.
UNHCR and
UNHCR website, you just go there, you put / I belong.
I belong.
I belong, and you go there and sign the open letter.
Voila.
And then you could send for your little bracelet as well. And you're committed to ending statelessness.
Yes.
And we would pray for that too.
Please.
More things are wrought by prayer than people can ever imagine.
Please. We really need that.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, my brother couldn't get all his dream achieved. He couldn't get a nationality. He got many of it achieved. Like we got the RNE in Brazil. We were happy. We were working and everything legally. We existed in Brazil. It was the first time we exist and we feel this in Brazil. But we need nationality. I'm 28. Maybe I will live for 60.
Maybe one day you'll be a Trini.
That's right. Maybe one day. You know.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Chiara.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Live and Work Community for the amazing work that you're doing in this country.
All glory to God. Thank you. And thank you, sisters and brothers. It was wonderful sharing this time. Be blessed by the Lord always. And remember, keep your heart open to stateless persons and to refugees and asylum seekers, and pray for them. God bless you all.